attimo ci collegheremo. Hi. Hi, Vicky, do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. So now you will appear on the big screen in a moment, just very few seconds. Here you are. So I'm happy and honored to give a warm welcome to Vicky Krieps on our big screen. Thank you to be here.
Hello.
So, dunque, io parlerò in inglese, se avete bisogno di traduzione me lo dite. Beh, farò magari una traduzione sintetica per chi magari non conosce bene l'inglese. So, I know, Vicky, you are in Italy. You have just told me you are in Tuscany now, not in Berlin, not in your home.
Yes, I'm in Tuscany.
Okay, so it's really very nice to have you here. We have just watched the movie, and I have seen it for the second time, and I really think it's a really beautiful movie, and your interpretation is astonishing. You're we have known you through other movies. Another one that I loved, I really loved, is Serre-moi fort. Beautiful
Yes.
interpretation too. And with this movie, you also won the European Film Awards. That I think you really deserved it. So thank you for this really brilliant role and interpretation.
Thank you.
Dunque, come sapete, Vicky Krieps con questo film ha vinto gli EFA, gli European Film Awards, che è un po' come l'Oscar europeo, e ricordavo un altro film dove ce ne sono diversi, naturalmente, Il filo nascosto, che è quello che l'ha resa più popolare, però un altro film dove che abbiamo proiettato qui al Beltrade, dove lei ha un'interpretazione davvero incredibile, è Stringimi forte, non so se qualcuno di voi l'ha visto, un bellissimo film molto complesso anche da recitare, dove lei fa un'ottima prova. And I think that Serre-moi fort was a difficult movie to interpret, and I think that these two must have been difficult, very complex. The character is very contradictory. I think it must have been a tough role to interpret.
Yes. On one hand, it's something that it's almost my fault because I proposed to the director to make a movie about the Empress Sissi because I felt no one ever really talked about her the way I could feel. Maybe there's something much more darker about her, and so it's on one hand, it was something that I always knew exactly what I'm doing because I wanted to do it. But at the same time, it's true, it was difficult maybe to navigate the darkness, because I, as a person, I'm very open and I love people, I'm very social. And for her, I had to go to a place where, she doesn't know who she is
Yeah.
herself.
Mhm.
So she's kind of swimming in the sea of her own personality. And similar to Stringimi Forte, it's something that you have to do a lot in your own mind and a lot in silence, which that makes it sometimes difficult because you're like really carrying the log by yourself.
Ok, I will try to translate. Sì, effettivamente dice è stata forse anche un po' colpa sua di dover interpretare questo ruolo perché è stata lei a suggerire alla regista di fare un film su Sissi. E, effettivamente è stato complesso perché è un personaggio che ha una certa oscurità, mentre lei è una persona più solare e ha quindi dovuto tuffarsi un po' in quest'anima appunto un po' scura che a sua volta era come se si tuffasse dentro se stessa e un po' come in Stringimi forte c'era appunto la necessità di entrare all'interno di quest'anima, di questa psiche abbastanza complessa. So, but could you tell us something more about this proposal that you made to the director to do this movie, how it happened, why, and what happened after.
So I was making a movie in Vienna with Marie Kreutzer. This was before Phantom Thread, quite before.
Okay.
And we were talking that we would like to work again. And at this point, I had been a mother the second time. And I felt, I love my children and I love being a mother, but I could feel that as a woman, I had entered another vehicle that felt again a lot like a prison, you know. Like, oh, now you are a mother, so you have to behave like this. Oh, now because you're a mother, you have to do this and you don't do this, like a corset. And so it was really on my mind, this kind of feeling of imprisonment. And I had read her biography at 15, thinking that there's something darker behind the curtain. And that's why I proposed it to her. Maybe you want to translate this
Yeah,
and then I...
thank you very much. Sì, dunque stava finendo di fare un film insieme a Marie Kreutzer, prima di questo, la regista appunto di questo film, doveva ancora fare il filo nascosto e si erano ripromesse di lavorare ancora insieme. Era divenuta madre per la seconda volta e si sentiva in un momento, non una prigione, però comunque un vicolo, un momento in cui ti senti un po' costretta a fare delle cose, a dover scegliere di una certa via che in qualche modo è prescritta. E si è ricordata di questa biografia che aveva letto da ragazza, di Sissi, e ha ritrovato un'eco, insomma, di quello stato d'animo in questa lettura e da qui appunto è venuta questa idea.
Yes, and then I told Marie, and she said it's a bad idea. Because she is Austrian, so she grew up with Sisi being only the commercial tool, you know, because Sisi is really on every cup, on every jumper you can buy as a tourist. So for her, Sisi was something very superficial and commercial and not interesting at all. And then she went to the archive, not telling me. And when I finished Phantom Thread, I came home and I had a script in my letterbox with a postcard. And on the postcard, it said, well, Vicky, I went to the archive and you were right. And here's the script.
Ok. E all'inizio appunto Marie Kreutzer ha detto no, assolutamente è una pessima idea fare un film su Sissi. Marie Kreutzer è austriaca e quindi per lei Sissi era una sorta di santino che è ovunque, qualcosa che va bene per i turisti e sulle tazze, sui souvenir di qualunque tipo. Però dopo aver fatto il filo nascosto, dopo un po' di tempo, poi ha scoperto che nel frattempo Marie Kreutzer aveva visitato un po' di archivi, scavato un po' nella vita appunto di Sissi e le aveva spedito una sceneggiatura belle che fatta, insomma, belle che pronta, con una cartolina che diceva avevi ragione tu, insomma, sono andata agli archivi e avevi ragione tu. So was it something magic?
Yes, absolutely. And also because I did Phantom Thread, the filo nascosto, it was the first time I encountered, you know, being not famous. It's not in my life. This is not. I stay very invisible, but still, I could get a taste of celebrity and people looking at you and talking about you. And so this was really the magical thing, is that only then I really understood her.
Sì, è stato un po' magico. Il filo nascosto è stato un film che le ha dato una certa celebrità, l'ha fatto anche se lei rimane una persona un po' schiva, che si rende invisibile, però le ha fatto sentire quel sapore, insomma, il sapore dello Star System. E in quel momento a ricevere appunto il ruolo di questo personaggio era il momento giusto perché anche questo passo, quindi questo diventare un più celebre, la faceva avvicinare ancora di più a questo personaggio. comprenderlo di più. And so how it started, or did you took part in the also in the writing of the character?
So there was a finished script,
Okay.
but a lot of the, if you want, the acting is also my personal rebellion as an actress. You know, it's Sisi rebelling against her position as an empress, but it's also Vicky rebelling against the way you're supposed to act the empress. You know, so a lot of the modern things like the pulling the tongue, or you know, saying asshole and stuff like that, or the way I behave, came a lot from me, or ideas, or like in the end the mustache, you know, was something that was important to me, but I did it as a surprise. Marie didn't even know I was going to do it. Or when I go out of the window, I just went out of the window in the scene, hoping that there would not be anything in the image. So there's a lot of, if you like, there's a lot of co-writing, but not in the stage of the making the script.
Ok. Gli ho chiesto se ha partecipato alla scrittura del personaggio e dice non tanto alla scrittura quanto proprio nel recitare, così come c'è un carattere di ribellione in Sissi rispetto al suo essere imperatrice, in lei c'è una ribellione rispetto al suo dover essere attrice in un certo modo, quindi ha applicato questa ribellione al personaggio e alcune scene le ha modificate in maniera però estemporanea, senza scriverlo prima, come una sorpresa proprio. Quindi ad esempio quando certi piccoli gesti, tipo il tirar fuori la lingua o anche il buttarsi all'improvviso dalla finestra, sono state, o il mettersi i baffi alla fine, sono state delle piccole ribellioni improvvisate che lei ha introdotto appunto nel personaggio. Okay, and did you converge, you and the director, on the meanings that you wanted to give to this character? I imagine that you were thinking about also the women of today, and not just Sisi as a woman of the late 19th century.
Yeah, I mean, the movie really comes from there, you know, my desire as a woman from nowadays, because I was raised what you call free. My mother was a feminist, and she taught me to climb trees, but never taught me how to wear a nice dress. But still, I realized that I was still, by society, I could get the same corset, you know, of how to be a woman, and that I have to please in order to be loved, you know, which is a very old thing we have. And this is something that always annoyed me a lot, and I wanted to rebel against. So doing the movie, I was always very aware that this is why I'm making the movie, you know.
Sì, rispetto al fatto di riferirsi non solamente alla condizione femminile di Sissi o della sua epoca, ma a quella di tutte le donne anche di oggi, sicuramente questo è stato un tema per lei ben presente. Lei è cresciuta con una madre che l'ha educata in maniera molto libera, ma nello stesso tempo ha comunque sentito una sorta di corsetto, no? Di dover essere in una certa maniera in quanto donna, in quanto ragazza. E quindi questo è stato sicuramente uno degli obiettivi che ha sempre avuto in mente nel fare il film. I don't want to monopolize the questions. I will ask if someone is not so shy and can ask something. C'è qualcuno che non è troppo timido e ha voglia di fare le sue domande o il suo commento? Vi porto un microfono, approfittate dell'occasione, insomma, alzate la mano e ve lo porto. Tutti timidi? Dai, dai. Ecco, c'è una domanda. Allora, aspetta. Ma visto che sei vicino, sì, così che questo microfono è migliore.
Come vuoi tu. So hi, this your character as always when someone is looking for a meaning on his or her life is I suppose it's difficult to act. So how do you, apart from your personal history, how do you prepare yourself to get in the character?
Oh yeah, there was a lot of preparation. So one thing was that I was, of course, reading all the, her diary, the diary of her daughter, and then there's a lot of diaries and texts of her ladies in waiting. So some of the text in the movie, when she says, she walks alone on a path, there's only place for one person. This is actually from the book of the personal diary of her lady in waiting. So we were all reading a lot of this, but of course I was reading a lot. Then I had to learn the side saddle. I had to do the fencing. I was learning ice swimming. It's not in the film anymore. They took the scene out, but I was ice swimming. I had to learn the Hungarian. And of course, I had to learn all the secret manners of the court, like how to stand and how to sit and how to behave. So there was a tremendous amount of preparation. But then when I did the film, I tried to completely free myself. I mean, not my body, because the body is stuck in the corset. I mean, and that was the biggest challenge, was to work with the corset, really, because it was physically more than I expected. I keep saying it was a mistake, and I mean it. I didn't think what it would do if you wear a corset on a film set nowadays, which is 14 hours or 15 hours. And it was very, very painful. And I couldn't drink, I couldn't eat, I couldn't breathe properly. I always got very sad from it. But of course, it also informed me a great deal about the women of that time and how they must have felt. So there was a lot of preparation in many ways. And then there was my own personal preparation, where I tried to just feel her soul in a way, even though I could feel really early on that she doesn't understand herself. So it's difficult to understand someone who doesn't understand himself. And also, if you read the books about her, they are always different. So based on the time and the person writing it, they describe a different Sisi. Yeah, there was a lot of preparation.
Grazie, thank you. So, allora cercherò di tradurre. Dunque, anzitutto ha letto un sacco di cose, soprattutto i diari suoi, i diari della figlia e anche delle donne che stavano a corte, e libri, eccetera. E poi si è esercitata a fare quello che faceva Sissi in vita, compreso anche credo nuotare nel ghiaccio, che poi non compare nel film. Però ho dovuto insomma imparare tante cose, compreso l'ungherese e soprattutto lo stare a corte, l'etichetta, le maniere, insomma tantissimo studio, che poi però ha cercato come di dimenticare un pochino quando era sul set. E poi c'era questa questione del corsetto che ha effettivamente indossato per tutto il tempo, e quello non esita a dire che in realtà è stato un errore, perché è stata una sofferenza incredibile che certo le faceva sentire, insomma, quello che sentivano le donne di quell'epoca che lo indossavano, però nello stesso tempo indossarlo così a lungo era qualcosa di tremendo, che le impediva di bere, di mangiare, le rendeva difficoltosa la respirazione. Quindi c'è stato
And the
molto.
sadness, that it really makes you sad. That was really incredible to realize that I put it on and I immediately got sad.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's because your the diaphragm is, I think, where all the nerves come together and everything. So all your emotions are there, and you really get sad from it.
E si diventa pure tristi a indossare il corsetto, perché evidentemente ti comprime anche sì, il diaframma, comunque ti impedisce di esprimere le emozioni, non sei libero, insomma.
Yeah.
E poi al di là di questo c'è stato proprio il tuffarsi nella sua anima, come dicevamo prima, che è stata una cosa complicata perché è difficile comprendere una persona che non si comprende, quindi è stato un lavoro abbastanza complesso. But I think also maybe one of the most interesting sides of this character, the fact that she doesn't understand herself and that she is so contradictory, and so she wants to be free, but at the same time she wants to appear in she wants to be beautiful, and all this is mixed in a strange way that's really interesting.
Yes, we really wanted to make a movie about a woman who's a human being. So she has all the faults and all the bad sides we all have, you know. And in general, in movies, we tend to draw women more perfect, or, you know, women are not always allowed to be so contradictory or so unsympathetical. And this is something we wanted to do.
Sì, in particolare, cioè, doveva essere un film sugli esseri umani, quindi le loro contraddittorietà, in particolare alle donne non è sempre consentito essere contraddittorie, ci- anche questo era un aspetto. C'è qualche altra domanda dal pubblico? Io vi passo volentieri il microfono. Qualcun altro che osa rompere la coltre della timidezza? Avete davanti Vicky Krieps, potete farle qualunque domanda, approfittate. They are always very shy. And this time maybe even more than usual. Alzate la mano, alzatela bene perché non vi vedo bene. Ecco, ce n'è una.
Hi, good evening. I wanted to ask you if there is a special meaning for all the water that there is in the movie, all the time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good question. You're not the first one to ask the question. And when we get the question, especially Marie Kreutzer, the director, she says she wasn't thinking of it consciously when she was making the movie, but now when we watch the movie, we realize the same meaning of the water. I mean, there's definitely a meaning, and it's like le fil rouge, you know, in the film. But I think it was maybe not unconsciously, but it was intuitively. I think the whole movie was made completely intuitive. You know, the directing was intuitive, the writing was intuitive, and my acting was definitely mostly intuitive. So I think this is an intuitive thing that happened. But now that we get the question, we realize that there is a big, you know, connection and meaning with the water. Maybe because it's about a woman, as I said in the beginning, she's on one hand, she's swimming in her own personality, you know, lost at sea. And on the other hand, through the water, we also express the freedom, you know, and the letting go and the flowing and her desire maybe to flow.
Sì, appunto la domanda era rispetto a questa presenza costante dell'acqua nel film, quasi fosse un filo conduttore, e la risposta è che non se ne sono rese conto subito, che però gliel'hanno fatto notare e sicuramente in maniera forse un po' inconsapevole, inconscia, ma più che altro intuitiva. Questo elemento appunto è diventata una parte importante del film e così retrospettivamente possono darne anche una spiegazione, ossia il fatto che per questo personaggio l'acqua può essere un simbolo che ha diversi significati, perché da una parte può rappresentare quel nuotare quasi persa in se stessa, e dall'altra può rappresentare anche invece un elemento di libertà, quindi ha questi due aspetti che sono forti nel personaggio e effettivamente ricorre molto nel film. Thank you. Ecco, c'è un'altra domanda. Vuoi venire qua? Grazie mille, perché il radiomicrofono è un po' bruttino, con questo si sente meglio.
Hi. I'm curious to know how the film was received in Austria, or like for people that have a traditional relationship to the character in a more like how you described it. Thank you.
So we were quite scared of the reaction in Austria and Germany, as you can imagine, because we are destroying the perfect image of the perfect queen. But interesting enough, we got a lot of very positive answers. I mean, definitely there were people saying, "Oh, but why is she so mean? Why do you show her mean?" You know, which goes back to what I said before. We are used to seeing women as nice and beautiful and pleasant and pleasing, and you know. But we got a lot of positive response, really, actually. And one interesting thing is there were many men coming to us of a certain age saying, "Thank you for the film, because I feel like now I can understand something I never could understand about women." And this is something we didn't expect at all to happen.
Sì, è interessante appunto il fatto che in Austria il film parte qualcuno che naturalmente è rimasto un po' male perché è stato distrutto il suo ritratto idealizzato di Sissi. Per il resto il film è stato ricevuto molto bene, ha avuto un ottimo riconoscimento sia dal pubblico che dalla critica e addirittura alcuni uomini hanno ringraziato perché hanno detto che attraverso il film hanno capito meglio le donne. E quindi c'è questo risultato inaspettato. A miracle, they say.
Yeah.
C'è qualche altra domanda dal pubblico? Qualche commento? Qualcuno vuole dire la sua sul film? They're all very silent, very quiet.
It's okay. It's a silent time of the year, so I'm
yeah,
I'm
it is. It is actually. So I had another question. I have to remember it. Just aspettate, che mi è passato di mente anche a me la mia domanda. Sì, ho proprio un'amnesia. With Marie Kreutzer, did you agree on everything, or did you also have some divergences? Was it a really magic relationship, or because you said it was a very intuitive movie, and we can see it because I could perceive that there was a lot of truth in this movie.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I saw that there were many things that couldn't have happened in that time that maybe are fruit of your invention. And how did you work together on this strange mixture of truth and untruth, we could say?
Yes. Working with Marie was fantastic. It was a little bit like I worked with Paul Thomas Anderson, because she is like him in a way that she lets the actor really breathe. And I felt really respected and free. So I was able to move intuitively, but she was moving intuitively too. It was like a quiet, silent sort of telepathy, like I had it with Mathieu Amalric, actually. For Stringi Mi Forte, I had the same telepathy really going on, I would say. So there's not a lot of talking, but a lot of respect, and each one is in his process of following his intuition. So came a lot along the movie. So during the movie, she realized that she wants to play with this. And me doing the movie, I realized how she wants to break free and how I cannot just act her or do my homework. You see, I think it would be the worst if I would have done my homework and then I show you my homework, which unfortunately many historical movies are. but I wanted it to be more like, okay, I do my homework at home, and then when I come to the cinema, I play. And
Ok.
I invite you to play with me, you know.
Ok. Sì, allora c'è stato con la regista un'intesa davvero molto forte. Non si parlavano molto, non c'era bisogno di tante parole, c'era appunto attraverso questa intesa quasi una telepatia, un po' come c'era stata anche con Mathieu Amalric sul film di cui parlavamo prima. E, anche questo aspetto appunto di mescolare gli aspetti storici con aspetti più moderni che venivano man mano in maniera anche questa intuitiva nel corso della direzione del film alla regista, così anche nel suo caso man mano che si procedeva anche lei sentiva appunto che c'erano magari delle cose da tirare fuori, delle cose da aggiungere in attese, inaspettate e insomma questa modalità di non fare il compitino, di non limitarsi appunto a imparare bene una parte e poi recitarla così come doveva essere da compito a casa, è stato qualche cosa che lei ha potuto fare in questo film, quindi giocando di più col suo personaggio, anche perché appunto così come Amalric la regista l'ha molto rispettata, l'ha lasciata molto libera nel suo essere attrice, quindi con un grande rispetto verso il suo lavoro. Thank you very much, Vicky. Ancora una volta vi chiedo se c'è qualcuno che ha una domanda da fare, qualche curiosità, qualche... Sì, ok. Ok, traduco io? Ok, va bene. So this question is very simple. Which are your best movies and best directors that inspired you the most?
Oh, that's a difficult one, but I definitely remember watching La Belle et la Bête from Cocteau when I was very young, and watching the film black and white, I remember thinking, oh wow, I want to be part of this world. I wasn't thinking I was going to be an actress, but I was thinking, these people are crazy. They make hands move in the wall, you know? This is just amazing. I want to be part of this movie. So La Belle et la Bête from Cocteau, I think, was one very important moment in my life. And then later there was, I mean, stuff like Jim Jarmusch was a big impact. I remember Breaking the Waves. I remember watching, thinking, wow, this looks so real. It was almost spooky. A lot of the Italian cinema actually too, because my mother and my father loved it, so he was showing me all of these movies. And La Notte di Cabiria is one of my really famous films, and where I found a woman acting in this kind of contradictory, complex way that I really, I admire.
Allora, un bel po' di film e di registi a partire da Cocteau, La Bella e la Bestia, che ha visto da ragazzina quando ancora non pensava di fare l'attrice da grande, però ha sentito che voleva essere come parte di questo pazzo mondo di questo film. E poi molti altri come Jarmusch, un altro film che l'ha colpita è stato Le notti di Cabiria, dove c'è questo personaggio che ha questa grande complessità, contraddittorietà e poi credo che me ne siano sfuggiti alcuni. Maybe I missed some of the movies that you quoted, but...
No, I think they were all there. You didn't say Breaking the Waves, but...
Ah, giusto, Breaking the Waves anche.
Yeah, but there are many more. It's just, I think the most important is The Belle et la Bête, I guess.
Ok, ma La Bella e la Bestia vince, insomma. Breaking the Waves, che poi è Le onde del destino, Le onde del destino in italiano, sì, 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 anche quello, un personaggio femminile fortissimo. Bene, c'è ultimo appello, c'è qualche altra domanda, se no lasciamo libera la nostra... Okay. There is a question about if you can tell us something about the soundtrack and the clothes, the costumes, the dressings.
I mean, the soundtrack is amazing. It's so Camille, the artist, she made the song already exists. But she turned it into something longer and more complex for the movie. And all the other songs you saw, like the Chris Christopherson or the Rolling Stones, what they play on the harp and the violin, is recorded on set. Actually, that's why they won a prize in Cannes, I think, for the soundtrack. Maybe you want to translate the soundtrack part and then I say
Sì, allora c'è il brano principale che esisteva già, però è stato modificato, come allungato anche proprio per il film, e poi c'è la parte suonata da uno dei Rolling Stones, mi sfugge il nome, che è stata suonata proprio sul set, quindi apposta per il film.
And the costumes were all made, so we didn't have the money, of course, because in Europe you don't get the money to make historical films like the big Hollywood movies. So Marie took a few very intelligent decisions, and one was that every character only had one costume, but that was perfect and custom made, and you would have little elements that would change, but every character only had one dress. But my character, of course, I had a lot of dress, and there was a lot of fitting all the time. Over making of the movie, every Sunday I had to go and do more fittings and more, because they were making the costumes for the film as we were filming.
E per i costumi non c'erano tanti soldi, sono molto costosi e non era una produzione hollywoodiana, per cui la regista ha preso una decisione molto azzeccata, che consisteva nel fatto che ogni personaggio aveva un solo costume, a parte ovviamente lei che ne aveva un sacco, e questo unico costume però doveva essere perfetto e magari a seconda delle scene poteva essere leggermente modificato con un'aggiunta da qualche parte. They are saying that the costumes are beautiful.
Yes, and one more thing interesting is that Marie Kreutzer, the director, she didn't like, because if it would be historical correct, there's a much more kitsch, like there's something here and something here, and she kept saying like, oh, this is too much. I want like clean lines, and I think you see that really well in the film, and it's beautiful.
E poi c'è stata anche questa attenzione della regista verso una maggiore semplicità, potremmo dire, dei costumi rispetto a quella che poteva essere una correttezza storica assoluta, che però li avrebbe resi forse un po' eccessivi, un po' troppo rigidi. Bene, bene. Thank you very much, Vicky Krieps. It has been really very, very interesting, and I'm still very happy to have you here on the screen, but we cannot ask you to stay all the night with us. But we hope you can pass by Milan also someday. If you come, you will be really very, very welcome to come here and tell us in advance, so we prepare something for you, and special screenings and,
Yeah.
And special welcome.
I will try to come. I really want to visit Milan.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
And to be so available.
Thank you.
And
have a good evening, and have a happy New Year, everyone.
Thank you, and you too. Yeah. Thank you. Tomorrow we will be here. I don't know if these people will be here, but we will be here. I guess 200 people toasting in the cinema with a marathon from the morning to late night. And so we will pass our end of the year just here in the cinema.
Perfect.
And so, Happy New Year to you, and good luck for your next project and your next movies and everything, and not just the movies. Thank you.
Yes.
Bye-bye. See you.
Bye. 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 Bye.